Hello. Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming in so early. May I represent us? I'm Nicolas Herre, one part of Atelier Fanelsa, a young practice from Berlin in Germany. And yeah, we actually work in Berlin, but we focus on the countryside surrounding Berlin, which you see on the map, like the red dots, is like the projects, some of our projects. And yeah, maybe first of all, a few words on our approach in architecture. Now it's 2023, but we think that we need a change of paradigms in architecture, because up till now, architects were focusing on build form, and using externalization and extraction of materials and resources. But we think this should shift towards an approach based on systems and patterns that care about building and architecture. But how do we do that? Because architecture, as we see it now, it's just like the world of the architect, it's just a tiny role in building industry. And then again, building industry is just like a tiny part of the cosmos influencing buildings. And to gain more appearance, we think it's needed to implement new systems that allow us to extend the range of the architect. For example, by coming up with a new ecosystem where architects are more like focusing on circularity in building and their application, by working closely with production industry and craftsmen, or also by collaborating with local policymakers and the government. Here, one small video that also kind of describes our approach.
For us, it was an opportunity to test an alternative approach to design and construction in a collective way. From pouring concrete and building a timber frame structure to making windows, we did everything by ourselves while sharing the same living space. Through this process, we also developed the application of local materials and construction methods further. We observed that through this work, and through collaboration at eye level between people with different skills, experiences, and backgrounds, a new, regional building culture was revived. The personal connection between producers of space and their living environment was revived.
Okay, but now to our project being shown here today on the panels. We're here in Pole, like a small village near Hanover in Lower Saxony, like kind of in the center of Germany, clearly in the countryside. And in this case, our clients, like a young couple moving there from a city and finding themselves with like these, I mean, like it's this three-sided farm. It's quite huge. Coming from a flat from a city, you have like basically more than one rooms for every of your activities. Like there was rather even too much space for them. So it was impossible kind of to renovate all of this house at once. And there was a lot of space, but not a lot of money. So we had to come up with like a kind of new strategy how to resolve that as an architect. In this case, we tried to question the role of the architect by coming to the construction site and living with the owner, like with the client and with neighbors and craftsmen together for 1 week every month. And instead of like planning ahead, like long time planning, which would have cost a lot of money, we would just go there and discuss directly with the client on site and come up with solutions, also get our hands dirty to come up with straightforward solutions and also like a much better understanding of what is there. Yeah, the plot also extends towards the fields with like a small garden and a former chicken house. And here, for example, this was us, the office and some friends, dismantling one part of a barn, which had like a huge hole in the roof. So like to rebuild the roof was much too expensive, and therefore we just decided to make a clean cut. Still enough space would be there, and yeah. By being like living on site, this also allowed us to see like potential in and create like super local circular approaches. For example, on the right, by tearing down one separating wall, we could use the bricks to come up with a ground stove and lead the remaining force, like to take the force with a steel beam found on site. Also, the infrastructure, like the electric cabling, we just used some surface mount copper to basically leave all the surfaces as they are and make some clean lines where we do interventions. Here you see the backside of the barn. On the left and on the right, I mean on the left we took away the barn, and the remaining opening we closed it with polycarbonate, like transparent. And on the right we did kind of the same, because up there's this artist studio of the client, because there's also a painter. But with this new space also created in the back of the lot, the clients now use the barn as like a cultural center where festivities can happen. Here, for example, the neighbors were invited for a reading event, and now the client actually has turned from artist to a baker. But apparently there was a stove, like a baking stove in the cellar, and now the village has like since long again like fresh bread in the village. And here lately the site was used by Nicolas Fanelsa with his students from the Technical University, where they insulated with bio-based materials during a workshop the former kitchen house, which is now like a writer's room. Yeah, insulation with straw from around the area. Also some nice details in the roof, like where the red elements are, there's like now the straw insulation, and well, it comes out like that. Thank you so much, and enjoy the next days before us.